Welcome to the Living Elan Podcast, where we help you reclaim your confidence and energy through taking control of your wellness. I'm Paige Hope.
And I'm Tracey Vlahos. Join us for quick chats on wellness, personal growth, hormone regulation, and more.
Another Living Elan podcast. And this week, Paige, I have to share with you, this is going to be, I think, one of our most instrumental podcasts in really educating women. And I know that you are personally really excited about this podcast here because it really is what sets the tone for Elan Pure, why you launched it, why you spent 2 years even formulating a product that would be good for your skin, good for you. So I'm giving it away just a little bit. So this podcast is all about clean beauty versus non-toxic beauty. What does that mean? There's a lot of confusion out there. And I really believe that by the end of this podcast, we're going to really help our listeners understand what is the difference and why it's so important to even care about what you're putting on your skin. So with that said, I would love for you to share with everyone a little bit about your story and why you're so passionate about this particular topic.
I love that. Well, Tracey, that is a great segue because number one, I did not even realize that the word clean and even non-toxic are pretty unregulated. So when most people think that they're buying something clean, unfortunately, like I'm going to go out on a whim and say 98% of the time, it is actually not. And the reason for this is a word called greenwashing. And it's essentially when brands pretend to be environmentally friendly and clean through products that are supposedly good for you. And they do this through false advertising, is what I like to say. And their actions don't really align with what they are saying. So it's up to the consumer to become smart. And when I was going through my own hormonal challenges back in 2020, along with my sister really helped me get into the world of real non-toxic living, right? Because what that means to us is going to look different to other people. And so when we were going through and understanding, okay, well, to us individually, and this was before even the brand had its own guidelines for this, we had decided, all right, anything that is actually linked to hormone disruption or cancer, like there are proven or even possible links to this, we just want to avoid. So we have, oh my goodness, back in the day, we just started following all of these amazing non-toxic thought leaders, doing our own research. Thank goodness for my sister who really spearheaded this, and I was able to just go along this journey with her. We have a massive Excel spreadsheet. I'm not even joking you. I showed it to Tracey too. You see this.
I'm giggling because I'm going to tell you real quick. So sorry. Like when she just went massive, I went, Like, for all those who are listening, I was like, oh boy. Like I was like, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was like, it's massive.
No, interrupt all you want, Tracey, because listen, it was, and we just kept adding to it. So when new studies would come out or we would learn something else, we just kept adding it and adding it. And I know that sounds really, really overwhelming to the random consumer, right? Not everyone wants to go through all of the research, and most people don't actually have the time. And so it's really unfortunate that they do see clean and non-toxic and they just don't know, right? And a lot of this is just, I don't even think it's ignorance really, because people, like, realistically, I think the government should care about our health and they should have banned majority of these things, but we won't get into that this episode.
No,
because
we're not.
Let's be real, guys. There's 11 ingredients banned in the United States, and it's super, super sad. Canada has about 50, and then we have the EU with over, what is it? Is it 1,200? I mean, it's thousands in the EU, but
it is. And it's creeping up. And forgive me that I probably should have even looked right before this podcast because it continually changes. Myself being a holistic health practitioner, I'll just say we'll get emails and so forth that will say, oh my goodness, like today I received something that talked about, I think, titanium dioxide even. And how that is in beauty and skincare, but it's also in food and how it has now been banned and even like banned from even like our, like in the EU from even pet food, for goodness sakes. They're like, we're not even going to give it to our pets there, but we're going to go ahead and have you just smear it all over your body. So I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but it really is a big deal about what we're putting on our body. And I think you just said something really important for anybody who's been following along. We talk about marketing trickery, right? I've talked about food a lot. Just because something says, keto, gluten-free, that doesn't mean it's good for you. You need to turn it over and look at the ingredients. And we're really here to help and educate you as a consumer. That way you are empowered to do this. So Paige, that's exactly what you were doing with skincare and that, right? So many things will say clean beauty, and perhaps some of the ingredients are still clean, but you need to be educated on where you are, flip that label over, be able to read the ingredients inside and make that decision for yourself. So anyway, please.
I would agree. And I would also just say, we're going to be here to give you a baseline. And actually, we have this really awesome article coming out, and it's going to be released in August, which it might be when this episode gets released. And it's really going to give you guys where we started and then tips on where to start with your products and just some basic ingredients to start with. Because let's be real, even since 2020, I'm still learning to this day. And it's pretty much, you're going to be continuously learning. And so we want to take that hard part away from you guys. And so you can just come in, know that what you're getting is valuable, and also just submitting questions, because we're also here for that as well. But just to let you guys understand, the beauty industry is literally almost $100 billion industry. And brands are there. I mean, let's just call it what it is. They're going to be and always be on the profit and revenue side, because just because I'm a business person, I'm going to get a little bit into the business side.
Yeah.
A lot of these brands, transparently, they have to turn a profit. And going through the research, the testing, and all of this stuff doesn't always pan out to what their investors or what these long-time companies have been doing, right? So these new companies, which is why Tracey and I are so passionate about bringing other non-toxic and clean brands in front of you guys, is because we're changing the game. And we're actually leading from a place from the heart, honestly. And we actually want to create change. Of course, we have to have revenue come with that, but we're always going to be with the people side. So just always remember that. Majority of the lines you're going down at Target or whatever it is, a lot of them, there's going to be a few different big conglomerates, but pretty much they're all run by the same big conglomerates. Yes, so you just have to be careful. And I think my biggest piece of feedback as you're getting started into the clean beauty is starting simple. Let's be real, we're starting simple, but it's to just identify new things you can swap out into your routine as you run out or something like that, which is what this really awesome article, we should probably just release it at the same time, Tracey, because these are going to correlate a lot now that I'm saying it out loud.
You know what? Let's just, as the listeners are listening to this, you know what? We're going to link it in the show notes.
We're linking it in the show notes.
We're going to link it in the show notes. We're going to have it all over for you, because again, you may be, thinking to yourself as Paige was talking, like I said, it can be overwhelming. And, we are also about, like you said, taking that confusion, taking the overwhelm out. But you just heard Paige say is also making small swaps, because that's why we talk about scooches. So if you've been listening, this is the first time that you're listening, we're always going to talk about scooches, and meaning what are small things each week that you can do that is improving your overall health. And small scooches meaning just what Paige said, now that I'm getting educated, I always say, because once I'm educated, I can't unsee it. There's no way I can't unsee it. And I'm like, darn it, but I'm so thankful for it. But then it's okay, don't get over it. It's not all or nothing. So I want you to know, I'm going to say all or nothing. Same with your food. It's not all or nothing. With your skincare, your beauty, it's not all or nothing. Each scooch that you make makes a big difference. A friend of mine said the other day, I was talking to her and she's going through hormonal changes. She has some thyroid things going on. And she's like, Tracey, I'm like 60% there. Like, I know I'm not perfect. And I looked at her and said, perfect? Well, no. I said, of course not. I said, but imagine right now. I said, first of all, you've taken, let's say 60% of chemicals out. And we're going to get more into that in just here in a minute. And then, but I said, so now your liver, your body, right? It's not working as hard. It's not mimicking. But I said, imagine right now, you flooded your body back with that 60%. And she just looked at me and went, oh, and I went, yeah, there's no such thing as perfection. We live in a home outside, whatever, but I need you to understand something. It's not all or nothing. That each scooch, each time, let's say even this next year, I'm going to pretend here. I used to do something called Upgrade Friday many years ago, and I focused on one product every Friday. And I said, imagine if you scooched one product a week even. That's 52 products a year. That's huge. That's not perfection, but it makes a big difference on your body and what's happening and the overload. So don't think that, oh, it's all or nothing, that it's a big deal. So I just wanted to just share that because Paige just reminded me of just making sure that that is why we're here, to help with those small scooches and educate you and take this guesswork out. So
yes,
anyway.
No, I would agree. And for those of you that are like, what in the world? Toxins? What's happening? Well, essentially, because there is so much awesome research out there, what we're saying when we're essentially going, okay, clean, non-toxic, etc., what's happening is there are certain ingredients that are in skincare and that are, I mean, honestly, it's everywhere, right? That mimic, and Tracey, you can kind of correct me on a lot of this stuff, but they're mimicking the estrogen in your body, and it's disrupting your hormones and then your internal well-being. So things are off. So I always say, like, it's definitely a holistic approach. You have the diet, you have the lifestyle, you have the products. Like, you definitely don't want to get into a toxic overload, but it's definitely a piece within all of it. And what's scary to me is the toxic overload that we're all facing. People feel like it's normal that they have their hair loss, which is one of the things that I had when I was going through my hormonal challenges, the insomnia, the not being able to fall asleep at night, the constant headaches. There are so many different symptoms that people just have, and they think it's normal. And to me, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I can't make any claims, obviously, and that's not what I'm doing, but I'm like, let's eliminate some of those toxins, girlfriends. Like, let's just start small and start eliminating some of that, because we want to make you guys and help you feel your best. So that's actually what's happening, like the science side. And maybe Tracey, you can go into a little bit of that as well, of the actual hormone disruption. So what's happening? Because so many people, this is one of my, now you got me on going. But I'm like, but so many people say, and these are the people that are like, oh my gosh, you can have toxins, like, it's not a big deal, we're all going to die. You know those people.
Yes.
They're the people that say, well, toxins in small amounts won't do anything. And that is so untrue when you relate it back to, okay, well, you have a little bit of this every day, consistently, for 15 plus years. Absolutely, that's going to have an effect on you. Absolutely. Stuff that's seeping directly into your skin. So there you go, Tracey. You take it away from there. You got me going. You know, this is why I started a company.
It is this compound effect. So I want to talk about a couple things that Paige just said is, so when we think about hormones, so many times we only think about sex hormones, right? That really, that's all that, we think about testosterone and libido. We think about things like that. But our hormones, our adrenals, our cortisol, it's our whole entire endocrine system. So imagine in your car, right? You've got a battery. Like, I like analogies because this is right. The teacher in me, the analogy that's in me. I said, your car is a battery. All right. So it's got lots of wires, lots of things going on inside. All of your hormones, many hormones from all the different types of estrogen, right? To, your thyroid, all of these are hormones. It is your battery in your body. It is your master battery. It is going to either give you a being balance. It's going to give you energy. It's what keeps you going. Like you said, we talked about like our skin, our hair, our nails. I mean, whatever that is, our brain fog, even from our weight, to, different types of fat. There are so many things that powerhouse, that battery, all of those hormones do. All right. So when we're putting things on our body, then, so I like to make this analogy as well. So I just want to pause for a moment. I think we can all agree that on a cellular level, when we're eating food, like if you could see me right now with a fork, right? When I'm eating food right now and I'm chewing it on a cellular level, I said it is definitely doing something in our body, right? It's making it acidic, it's making it alkaline, it's either preventing disease, it could be causing it could be causing inflammation, it could be not, like doing all the things to hormones, right? From the ghrelin hormone, the leptin hormone, there's so much when we say hormones, all right? But here's what I say, what you put on your skin. So now you're taking lotion, you're putting it on your skin, it's absorbing into your body on a cellular level. I just talked about what's on the end of your fork and you're chewing it from a cellular level. You might as well be putting that lotion, eye cream, whatever on the end of a fork or spoon and licking it off because it's going onto a cellular level. It is affecting your health and well-being. So you really want to be able to think about, what am I doing? So here's what I want you to think about that is going to perhaps make this easier for you. And I know I use a particular website called EWG. So E as in elephant, W as in Walter, G as in goat, EWG. I will go on there and there are a lot of times that I can put in a certain product. It is then going to categorize that product for me and give it a rating. Is it toxic? Is it non-toxic? Is it from non-toxic clear to 10? What I love about this, so here, this is going to help everybody because I want you to do this with anything, is I can then click on that because it gives me a number and I'm like, oh, I like to stay at a 3 or below, right? Whatever that is. Everybody's different. But when you click on it, it will then line out every single ingredient and it will say on there, oh, this is a 1. This is good. Oh, this is a 10. It has been proven clinical science that it is a hormone disruptor. It may cause cancer. It will tell you out of the list of maybe 20, 30 ingredients, it will rate each ingredient. So you as a consumer, not only can you see the overall rating, you're going to go in and go, oh, what? I mean, these are proven? Like these ingredients right here cause these things in my body. So I don't want you to just take it from Paige and I. I want to educate you on what this is and why other countries have literally banned and said, oh gosh, like this is proven, right? It's causing infertility in people, like all kinds of different things. It's causing cancer. Like, we've got to ban this because this is something people put on their body every single day. It's a compound effect. It is now mimicking different hormones. It's causing these things. So we're empowering you, educating you, not just taking our word. Oh, it's just a nice word, all non-toxic, clean beauty, but making you understand that these are different types of proven ingredients. There's no such thing as perfection again. Now you get to make a decision like, you know what? Maybe that product that's a 10, what if I even scooched it down to one that's a 4? And heck, someday I may scooch it down to one that's a 1. Like that's where we want to take you, is we want to make these things simple for you. We don't want it to be overwhelming, but at the same time, empower you like me, that once I see something, I can't unsee it. And you know what? My quality of life is important to me. So I hope that helped a little bit, what you were saying about like endocrine disruptors, how it's affecting your hormones, and how now you can truly see like this is real science out there, why other countries have had to make the decision, do we ban it or not? Because this is what's come back.
And again, if you're one of those people that says we're all going to die at some point, you're probably not for us anyways. So and that's okay. There's an audience for everyone. I always say that. We know exactly who our people are going to be. And hopefully one day, they'll have their own aha moment with us. But just to piggyback off of that too, Tracey, I think another thing to remember is there's a few different awesome apps out there as well. There's the Yuka app, like if you actually want it on your phone. However, just be mindful. I always tell people, be mindful because we live in, a place where everyone can kind of pay money for problems. Brands just want you to know on all of these platforms, pay money to rank higher. So it is just something to be aware of. And I always like to tell people like, hey, I'm recommending this, but just also remember this. So one of my favorite apps is actually Switch. You do have to pay for it, but she is, and I am blanking on her name, but the founder of it is just absolutely incredible. And maybe Tracey, let's write that down to link that in the show notes as well, because Switch is probably my top one. I really, really like them because they do not take any outside funding from these brands to rank higher, which is awesome. We're just getting down and deep in this conversation. We're empowering you.
Oh, well, can I say something? Because listen, it doesn't, like, I have, like, over my life, I've had a lot of people say to me before, well, Tracey, you only live once. Like, you're going to die of something. Okay. Just total. And believe me, and I always say that there's no such thing as perfection. But two things I'm going to share that, really made an impact in my life. Well, one, when I got into holistic health, it really was on the nutrition side and so forth. But then all of a sudden, because of working with cancer patients and different things like that, when I started doing my research, when I understood that 86% of all breast cancer was linked to environmental toxins, I remember I paused and I was like, what does that mean? Like, I had spent my life, like 10 years, working alongside the American Cancer Society at one point, helping people and understanding and like early detection. Like, I have literally traveled the US and sat and many things I won't get into, and like watched thousands of women either unfortunately, detected or had loved ones. And all of a sudden I was like, 86% is environmental toxins. Well, what's that? And then I understood, well, environmental toxins are those chemicals that we're put on our body. And I thought to myself, I don't know one person or woman or brother, sister, aunt, anything that would say, well, she lived once. You know what? Who cares? Like, no, all of a sudden I've sat with families. People have said to me that are survivors, Tracey, what can I do for it not to come back? And I always say, gosh, there are no guarantees. Right? There's nothing like that. And the next biggest question I'd get is, what can I do to protect my family? And I'm like, I always say, there's no guarantees again, but here is what we do know. So if you can help in having a better quality of life or prolonging something, I mean, that's where I say, yeah, you are all going to die of something. But at the end of the day, if I could have maybe kept my mom, my sister, somebody in my life that passed, and I could have maybe even kept them another 20 years with me because I was just a little more educated. Again, no guarantees, but these are the things that I think about all the time. So I just want to bring that to note. And again, at the end of the day, that's up to you. We are only here to empower you, for you to make that personal decision. But there have been a lot of different stories in my life that I'm like, I get it. We all are going to die of something, but I want quality of life. And so I thought to myself, Trace, share this, because if it gives you quality of life, I know many people my age, Paige, that are 52 years old and they're like really suffering with perimenopause and things. Women are going through it at a much faster rate than ever before because of everything we're putting on our body. And they don't realize that, yes, we're going to go through it. Yes, that's natural life, but we can take some of those symptoms that are so severe that they're crippling to people, and we can bring those down.
And isn't that just the most empowering message you guys have ever heard?
Like the human body was
and truly, it is such a good reminder, because we are on this earth to live to our fullest and to love and to just be so happy. I always talk about my main goal in life is to be happy. Like, genuinely, I want to just keep being happy. And it's just really interesting to see the difference of how people view all of that. So thank you, Tracey. I actually really, that resonated with me again, because sometimes, because I have had those hormone disruption issues more recent than yours was, I still sometimes go, oh my gosh, like I'll walk in somewhere and I'll smell the Febreze stuff, and in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so toxic, where I'm better off just saying, this isn't affecting me. Like, 80% of this is what I do, and I can't worry about the other stuff. Because that's the other thing too. let's not stress it. Like I literally it just doesn't affect us, but
No.
let's be real. If you have Febreze, you should get rid of it.
No.
That's an easy one in the house.
Yes. Like can I just say to you, fragrances like the plugins, like anybody, just please go out there, research it yourself. I had to take the plugins out of my house. I have literally had different clients take the candles and plugins and things like that, and they can't believe the difference in their body. I will tell you, I had a friend, her daughter had terrible PMS and so forth, right? We changed her tampon. Like, ladies, I just want you to understand, whether it's yourself, your daughter, because we don't realize that quote unquote cotton that now has been sprayed with pesticides that we're inserting inside of us, that's very delicate, absorbing skin that we have. Like, that's just the human body. And that we're literally absorbing those chemicals. Like, I always said, like, I started my menstrual cycle, Paige, at 11 years old. Well, I'm 52, right? So imagine every 28 days for the last, 40 years, and how many times, right, that I would be in. She literally just changed out those personal items, such as the tampon and the pad, to not be absorbing. And she said, I can't believe, Tracey, because she wasn't being able to go to bed, do none of those things. And now she said, or I shouldn't say go to bed. She couldn't get out of bed. She would be so hindrant about it. And now she doesn't have the PMS. She's not having the cramps from simply taking out
let's get
some
tactful.
different toxins and chemicals.
What tampon did you recommend her use?
Those hormones.
Lola?
Yeah, it starts with an L. Yes, thank you. I was like, I almost said something else. And I was like, that's not the one. That's my deodorant, Lumios. But yep. I think we should put it down in the show notes, because that's what I'm saying to everybody. Don't get all or nothing. Please don't be fearful. We're not here to be fearful. We're here to educate. We're here to make one scooch at a time and know that those simple, she changed out her tampon only. And she said, I can't believe it. I feel like 99.9% confident when I'm ready to say this, literally within 2 months. Like, I know it was no more than, I want to say the first month, but I'm like, okay, I'll go 2 months to feel like I'm safe here by saying that. Her daughter did not
we're
have
blessed to live in a place now where there are a lot of good, cleaner brands going into common grocery stores and things like that, like Cora and Lola. And I'm sure there's, on the good, better, best scale, you can definitely find some good ones there. So those are my recommendations. Well, Tracey, live. So to close this out, I know we only have a few minutes. I actually just Slacked you that article because I would love to go through. So Tracey and I, the first ingredient we both actually switched out was our lotion. And so I would love, Tracey, to go through some of this really fast and just give a couple quick tips as well, because I always want to just give some tangible takeaways. So you guys are hearing us do this live. This is how real we are.
This is right. This is what the beauty of being able to be in two separate places like we are right now. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube live, or if not, here we are. We're in two different states doing this, and she's slacking me, and I love it. So the first thing, because people were asked, just what Paige said is, when I started, I said, okay, what would make the biggest impact? I can't go throw everything away. That's too expensive, right? Single mom, even of today. I was like, okay, one scooch at a time. I run out of something, I'll replace it then. It all makes an impact. And I said, well, I'm putting lotion all over my body. That has to be pretty impactful. I'm going to start there. So it wasn't always easy what Paige was saying. Like, today, it's so much easier. Like, the product, the quality, even the cost. Everything. And so some of the brands that I have personally used over the years that I absolutely love, that I thought was so affordable that I wanted to share with everybody, like Dr. Bonner's, very affordable. You're going to be able to find that everywhere. But I tell you what, in the past 6 months, I've come across a company that I absolutely love, and it's woman owned. And of course, if you would know anything about my background, I'm also about supporting women and especially entrepreneurship. So Just Ingredients. That is the company that it's called. So anybody listening, it's called Just Ingredients. They have so many incredible products. And thank you, Paige, for introducing me to them, because I was then able to have a product uses essential oils. So I was using things that are fragrance free. But then when I came across Just Ingredients and she actually used essential oils and things, I was like, oh, because what we do, we love putting lotion on it. It smells good. I mean, right? That's just how it is. And that's why we're so addicted to regular product, quote unquote. I've had a lot of people say that to me. So please, lotion is one of number one. We also have a code for you for a discount.
And then
those
Acure,
are two that I really love.
Acure is another
then,
one where
again,
if you're
are
at the
gonna be linked
store,
right
like
into that
Acure is a
article
great
for
one.
you.
So I swap between Just Ingredients and Acure. But just to kind of go back a little bit, the reason we started with lotion is because it is your skin. And you guys will see this in the article that we release, but we have lotion being number one because your skin absorbs 60%, right? So anything you're putting onto your whole entire body. So we started with lotion and then we went into soap. Like, it's so crazy. Tracey and I had the same, and even my sister, like we went through, it's like skin, start with your skin. And so there's, again, same brands with body soap and wash. And then we went to our deodorant. And then we went to our laundry detergent, and then we went to our self tanner, which actually for me, my self tanner was like, I wish it would have been sooner, but because I had to create it first.
I know. Like, Paige, could I just say, what a trailblazer that you are for just, so many women and men out there. Because one thing that I know myself growing up, I mean, I baked in the sun. I was in the Midwest. I remember like we would have a snow in March or April. I would be shoveling it off the deck. I'd be laying out there, but then the sun wasn't good for you. So now all of a sudden I'm using self tanners or as I would say, I'm then spray tanning. So I was like a car. My ex-husband would say to me, like, babe, you do know you're spraying chemicals all over your body, right? This was many years ago. So, but why did we do it? And just what you said, that's right. We're confident. We feel better. I was with a woman a week ago. I shared this with Paige at a birthday dinner. She's in her mid 60s and I'm talking about this. And she said, I've been staying out of the sun because I've had a couple areas I had to take it off. But she said, I'm so much more confident when I have a tan and I have color. And I said, oh my gosh, that's why Paige started this. I said, she, understood that, right. You feel better when you have a tan and you're glowing and confident, but she wanted you to also feel good that you have got great non-toxic product that you're putting on your body. And there's this like infused with products that are actually good for your skin as well.
Tracey.
Not only is it non-toxic, but it's also good for your skin. So sorry. I just got super excited. She literally right there. I said, Paige,
I love that.
Give me
And
the
Tracey
website.
is
She
always
right
our number one fan,
she
and
was
I
so
love
excited.
That too. It's the best thing ever. A walking billboard. She's a walking billboard, and it's incredible. But Tracey, what would you say? So to close this out, going through the main, and maybe we just start with 3 because they can go read the article. Quick, easy toxins that are so easy for people to identify. Of course, I mean, I'm going to obviously say fragrance. It's so easy to identify that one because these big words are crazy. Like if you're just getting into this, and even if you've been into it for a while, like it can be pretty intense. So just to start out, they can review the in-depth article, but what would be your top 3 ingredients that they start to avoid?
Yeah. And you know what? I guess as I just sat here, I put myself into our listeners' shoes and, and really simplified. So one was parabens, right? And I'm going to say there are a lot of companies out there that say paraben free, but there's still other, toxins in it. But hey, you scooched up. Paige barely said something about good, better, best. You may scooch up to a product that's good. It's paraben free, it's SLS free, it's fragrance free, but maybe has a couple other things. And then eventually you maybe get to a better product and then a best product. Like I'd still want you to understand, again, and not about perfection. You heard me say SLS and sodium lauryl sulfate. That's huge for me because we won't get into this now. We got to be wrapping this up really I helped and also had my own product line, a beauty line years ago. And so I had to, because warehouses were in the EU. I mean, we'd have registered product there. So I had strict guidelines. And so I really got to understand. And so that was really, really huge for me. Now, see, Paige said, pegs are huge. I know Paige said fragrance. That has been very top, but pegs, because I say PEG, again, please read the article. That is petroleum, meaning, like oil, like gas you put in your car, like petroleum is really not good for you. Okay. And again, these are things I've learned over the years. I didn't start off with all of this. But here, let us just scoot you to a couple good products. Let us just scoot your way there. Again, don't get overwhelmed. That's what we're here for. And so I just encourage you to look at those things. Start with your lotion. That's really huge. Deodorant, right? Because we do use a razor. We open up those pores, and then imagine they're open, especially when you use a razor, you're putting deodorant on, it's absorbing. I'm huge on laundry detergent. Why? Because we're rolling in it. We have clothes on right now. It is literally touching your skin all the time. So, right, I always said that lotion, soap, I almost put together, that laundry detergent, because we're just like rolling in it. And that deodorant, because that definitely has been shown.
And
right,
I'll just circle,
those lymph nodes,
I'll kind
and
of tie
things.
it.
So if I had to start there, that's where I would go.
So really quick for me, where I started, I would literally look for the word fragrance or parfum, and I would just say, parfum, is that how you say it? Yeah, parfum. It's literally, and I would just say, okay, I'm not even going to worry about that one. And then if I did see anything with paraben, because it's going to have like a 6-letter word in front of it. So again, it's an easy way for you to be like, okay, if it has that, boom, I'm not going to use that. And then I would just say any crazy dyes like red 40 is, most people know, I would say most people know that red 40 should be avoided. Most people I do try to avoid it in their food and forget that you're lathering it because it's in a lot of self tans. There's 6 ingredients in self tans, in majority of self tans that are banned in other countries. So I can't believe that there's a leading one. And we're never about putting brands on blast, but there is a really big brand that has 6 hormone disrupting ingredients in it. Everyone is obsessed with it. Red 40 in it. Also, there is yellow 5, which is also one that you want to avoid. So those are quick ones that I started with, and they're very easy to identify. And so if you can just take those 4-ish that I just said, it's going to be so easy, and you're going to feel really empowered as you turn that ingredient label around and look, okay, that has fragrance in it. Nah. Yep. That has parabens in it. Nah. Okay. And then it's going to continue to get easy, but start there. And that's going to most likely get you into the better category. And that is perfect.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So we want to hear from you. What one product are you going to scooch next, right? What is it next? Whether you decide to maybe you're going to throw something out, or you know what, you're almost out of something and you're going to upgrade next. We'd love to hear, what is that one scooch? What is that one takeaway? We want you to tag us. We always have, myself personally, also Paige, Elan Pure. Tag us. Let us know. Share. Do you have a favorite product? You may be sitting here right now listening going, but oh my gosh, I wish I was sharing this with everybody. Like, here's a good one. Please share it. Tag us. We want to share it. We are about community, supporting one another, one scooch at a time. So Paige, thank you so much for everything that you've done to be able to bring this beautiful topic.
This just came to me, and I'm just gonna YOLO because you said YOLO earlier. We're going to, and we don't really do heavy discounts because, again, we are primarily organic and we have really quality sourcing. So we do try to fall into that affordable bucket. But I will say the biggest discount we typically do is 10% off. But what I'm going to do for this episode, because I want you to scooch your way into feeling better, we are going to do 20% off with Scooch 20 for our self-tan. So I wasn't planning on doing that, but I was like, you know what? It dropped in and we're doing it.
Paige is is definitely going YOLO because nobody can see my face right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Go Paige. I'm all for it. So thank you.
Thank you, Tracey.
Okay, finance hopefully is not listening to this. We'll be fine. Well, you're welcome. Until next time, here's to your confident, energetic self and to scooching yourself to your well-being. Thank you so much.